You're listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
Good morning and welcome to America's Web Radio, and we appreciate you tuning in today. And I want to wish everybody a good Friday. And with that being said, we have our honored guest, as always, on Fridays, and he's a good Presbyterian as well. And we have Shi Deru on, and Shi is a master, a 31-degree master in Kung Fu. Am I describing it right, Shi?
It's just the name. Don't worry.
Okay, just the name.
They call 31st generation of the Kung Fu. Shaolin. Shaolin has been around for 1,500 years. So I'm the 31st generation of the Shaolin family that started teaching martial arts. First started teaching martial arts in the world. All the martial arts today, and 90% came from my family.
Wow. Now that's passing something on from generation to generation without.
Yeah, all the karate, kung fu, taekwondo, jiu-jitsu, they all came from the family. Yeah, originally.
And I've just very little bit, and nothing like what Roger has done, or nothing like what Victor has done. But I do have a great respect for the East, and I think I mentioned this once before. I don't know if I did on this show or not, but I did mention it's very interesting. The East was so far in advance of the West, and taking their foods and everything else, and the trade and the ships that went to sea so many years ago, and the culture that was brought and developed, and it just I'm fascinated by it. And just like you said, the generation passing it on from generation. And if I would say there's one quality that I respect more than any other, and we do a show on the other side of it, which is called elderly abuse. And the respect that the East has for the elderly is just incredible.
Yes, absolutely, because in China, the elderly speaks, and everybody respect. Doesn't matter how old that elderly is, and in the village, in anywhere, and in the country, and the elderly is vastly respected. If your grandparents are alive, so who make the decision? The grandparents basically said the final word. And in the village, it's the same thing. The oldest person make the decision, and then the same thing in a large community. The old days, because they see the experience, they see where they connect their past to the present, and then they see that connection. They respect the connection. They respect the genetic connection, the history. They respect the past generations, past the knowledge, past the wisdom, past that the energy and connection, so to speak, and we call qi. And I will later on explain a little bit about qi. Thank you.
And correct me if I'm wrong many times, but don't the elderly, like in the United States, it's sort of like there's a point that we, as we get older, in many cases, not all cases, but in many cases, we decide to stop learning. But in the East, don't the elderly continue to learn, and then that's why they express the wisdom of their age? You
are absolutely right. I just started a new range of learning experience, and then we say nobody is too old to learn, and people 80 years old are still learning, and 90 years old are still learning, because the learning is a very, very important part of the life experience. Life experience to us is a learning experience. All the way to the day that body is gone, but that chi, we call it spiritual chi, that chi, the soul of the body, that's the ultimate chi, remains, never dies, because you have individual expression chi, the manifestation of the end expression of that chi, and perished with that body, because that's moment in time. That transmission, just like a cell phone. Cell phone can be destroyed, but the tower, the transmission, the internet, the satellite, all the way to the universal, that electricity never dies. So individual, you can, thousands of cell phones can, change back and forth, but doesn't mean anything. But that transmission, it's always there. The internet is always there. And that's what it is. And that chi is that transmission between human being to human being. The chi is the transmission between human being and the universe. The chi is the transmission between the universe as the ultimate wisdom. That means, let's say you from Christianity standpoint of view, we have a God. God, of course, in the West, you have a person. Maybe think of a God is look like a white man. But to the East, look like an Oriental man. But, that's the personified God. Okay, if you go beyond that, personification is that spirit. That spirit is, it cannot be touched. The spirit, is formless. The spirit is not visible. The spirit is there. The spirit created that universe. It's the original light of the universe. That's before the Big Bang, after Big Bang, and then that's, not created in certain days. That's of course and as a human being, we use different language to personify, use different language to describe, but we only capture so much. Today, we thought we knew a lot of things. We don't, and even science. We say we know the reality. No, we don't. We know less than 5% of the reality, and according to science, and then for everything else is sort of like a symmetry, sort of like matrix, sort of like interface. All you see is interface. Because behind the interface, there are a lot of things. The wires, behind the wires, it's so many things. Just like Max Planck and said, a long time ago. Max Planck probably, maybe many people have heard of him, and a lot of people may not have heard of him. Max Planck is one of my heroes, and he's Christian. He's a very spiritual person. When he received his Nobel Prize, he said, "I'm a serious physicist, and then research the physics of my life. But I don't see anything that is physical. Behind the physical, behind all matters, there's a force. There's a spiritual force." He's kind of like his student. He's a mentor of this guy, and his name is Albert Einstein. And everybody probably heard of Albert Einstein and heard of his student, but not him. He's the one introduced the Albert Einstein to the world, and hired Albert Einstein as a professor. Hired get Albert Einstein's article into the paper, and because he was the physicist, the number one physicist, the magazine's chief editor at that time, and so we all see nothing really that matter. Everything is the spiritual. The real thing is the spiritual behind all the matters. And chi is in that. Okay, let you go on.
No, I'm fascinated, and I as the day that we're talking about this is for Christians a very important day, and Good Friday, and it's when our Lord and Savior gave His life for all of us, that through Him our sins could be forgiven. But working in and around emergency rooms, and also as an EMT, And a lot of folks have never experienced being in a room with someone that dies. They may have had a friend or a loved one die, but they weren't necessarily in the same room. But as Christians, we call it the Holy Ghost or the Holy Spirit. But in a sense, it's the Chi, right? And
correct.
And I don't think there's, in my experience, I don't think there's anything more final than the death of someone. And it's like with Christ, his last breath, and the centurion knew that he was gone, and Christ said, "It's finished." And as he took his last breath, his Chi was gone, his Holy Spirit was gone, and he said unto God, I give my spirit into your hands. And but the finality is just incredible, and you know when between that last breath and the next to last breath, you still have a live person with Chi or with the Holy Spirit, and then after death, it's gone. And nothing more final, in my opinion.
And that's each person probably express that thing in the different ways. And yes, to that cell phone, that unique cell phone, each cell phone, that cell phone probably is not going to work anymore. But the cell phone, the contents of that cell phone, that energy, the cell phone transmission, the transmission from one cell phone is that cell phone is gone, and changing another cell phone still is going to work, because each entity is a sort of like a cell phone, the end expression. But the cell phone is gone doesn't mean all the information is gone, doesn't mean the spirit is gone, doesn't mean that the Chi is gone, doesn't mean anything of that soul is gone. Everything is still there, never dies. There's no death, no die, no birth, because it's always in that circulation. God spirit is always there, because God spirit is that transmission. God spirit is that by electricity is always there. The God spirit is beyond all that physical you can see, beyond all the formulas you have heard of, and governs everything. That means that thing never dies. Before the Big Bang, after the Big Bang, always continues. It's infinite. That mind is the infinite mind. And that's in my view of the God. God is infinite. God is a supreme intelligence. God is a supreme wisdom. God is everything. It's everything. And it occurs everything before anything occurs. Before anything occurs, and produces. Before anything that exists. So it's the mother of everything, and so to speak. And so it is the soul of all souls. And so that soul of all souls never dies. But the individual expression may gone. But the real thing is not. So each person, for example, let me give you a little bit Chi explanation. Last time, you wanted me to explain to you the Chi. Chi, okay, you have a universal Chi, the Chi of God, that we call supreme Chi. That is supreme intelligence. That also we call supreme consciousness, whatever you want to say. And you in the Orient, and we call this the supreme Chi. The supreme Chi has soul, the supreme Chi has consciousness, the supreme Chi has intelligence, the supreme Chi is everything that happens. It's the ultimate projection. Let's say, for example, according to today's science, quantum physics, and what we see is the quantum world, and everything is quantum produced. Everything's sort of like holographic world. From the holographic standpoint of view, and you have original light. The light is the projection of everything. It's sort of like a film. The film, we have the light project into the film. The original light is the God light. But behind the light, that is the God spirit. Behind the spirit, that's the God consciousness, that's the God intelligence. And then that intelligence pushes the chi out. That chi gives the light. The light produces everything, from the galaxies to plants, to planets, to and the suns, to Earth, and then to everything on the Earth, and everything under the star, everything, and then eventually, and you have a tiny humanity. The humanity is the whole thing. The whole thing is the humanity, and within the humanity, you see a lot of little tiny humanities, human beings, the billions of them, and then because of the sun, because of the environment, and they look like different colors, different shapes, but they all belong to one humanity. They're all interconnected with the original God, that original chi, that original soul spirit, that original soul chi. That's all connected. However, because we have so many films, we begin to give ourselves so many programs, because the subconscious program, the culture program, the nationality program, the authority program, different religions have different program, different Baptist, Presbyterian, and Assembly God, and Mormon, and Muslim, and Catholic. You have Israel and this Jewish, all kinds of religions, but they build their own shackle. They build their own shelter. They build their own groups, and then they give their own explanation. Those are what I call programming. So each programming become a different short film. And then whatever film you play, but ultimately it's the compassion. Ultimately it's the love of God. The God of love is not our love. Because we explain ourselves, okay, I'm a Jewish, I love my Jewish people. Okay, I'm a Presbyterian, I love my Presbyterian people. And then I'm a Buddhist, I love my Buddhist people. And it's just so that love is no longer love anymore. That is caged. That is the caged. That is your self-programmed. That is self-filtered. Your self-programmed, the self-filtered, and the thing, and it has nothing to do with God. God is the ultimate love, without condition, without prejudice, without division, without conflicts, without any authority. Doesn't matter who you are. Love all. That is just like Jesus Christ said. You slap my right face, I turn my left face. That whole idea is about compassion. There's no enemy. There's no enemy at all. So that compassion, that love is the ultimate God love. That is the ultimate chi, so to speak. Because that chi, when you connect with that chi, your life is, and you are connected with the ultimate soul. You are connected with the ultimate chi. We are connected with the ultimate consciousness. That body is no longer important anymore, because that body is not really yourself. It's the expression, the end expression. The self is the God self. The self is the connection. The self is the ultimate soul. That soul never dies. That expression can throw away. You change another vehicle. You change another cell phone. That's all it is. So sometimes we don't understand, and we hold that little vehicle so vital to us. And I know, just like one of the friends introduced his friend's son to me. The friend is Joshua priest from Catholic Church, and he told his friend, because the whole family went to Spring Hill Catholic Church. Spring Hill College is a Catholic college also. And this Joshua priest heard of me. I never met him actually. And then he introduced him. He said, well, this is a Zen master. He's also Christian. And then you probably talk to him. He may be able to help you. What happened was the whole family in quarrels. The whole family could not sleep. The whole family just diseased families. What happened is that mental projection. The mental projection is the son, 8 years old son died. of car accident. And then churches, explain what is God's will, and then they just cannot take it. And one day they came to me and said, well, the Joshua priest introduced us to you. Say, you can explain from the point of Qi, from point of consciousness, from point of whatever point you have. And we don't understand it. The priest doesn't understand either. He just said, you can explain to me. And I can see maybe can resolve my whole family's troubles. And then I said, well, I cannot explain as well. It's everything is there. What I want to see is what I understand. I can explain from my understanding. So I explained to him. He came here. He is God. He is God. He's the God. It's a God vehicle to come here to give you a lesson. The God vehicle come to give you a lesson to see how tough it is, how tough you are. He's not your son. He came here, his job, that he finished his job up to this point. It's sort of like a cell phone finished that cell phone's job at this point. And then that cell phone is over. But that cell phone's information is always there. And then that tower is always there. The satellite is always there. The beyond the satellite, that conscious information is always there. The quantum communication is still there. But the cell phone, there are billions of cell phones there. You can throw away and change another one. There's not much difference. So this is not your son. Your son came here to give you a lesson. And to finish your lesson, you need to learn from your son. That is more important than anything. Okay, this is not your son's son. It doesn't belong to you. It doesn't belong to your home. You have nothing to do with your son. You don't have any possession of your son. He came here. Is your teacher. Your teacher need to go. He need to go. Has nothing to do with you. And just like people get married. Oh, they're married. I love you. If you love me, you betrayed me. No, you want to possess that person. It has nothing to do with the love. The real love without a condition. The person is free. Everybody is free. God gave you that idea. Everybody is free. But you do not want anybody to be free. You want to be a Presbyterian. You have to be a Baptist. I went to Mobile College. People told me, oh, the Presbyterian is not real Christian. We are Baptist. That's real Christian. You have to be a Baptist to be a Christian. I said, really? And I didn't say anything. I went to Baptist church for a while, and Dr. Garner was very nice to me. He said, well, whenever you want to baptize here, we'll have another friend. He's very, very casual. He said, you don't have to be a Baptist. You can just remain Presbyterian. I said, no problem. I said, well, next time you have a congregation, I'll be baptized. I'll go over there. To me, go to the water, immerse it, and then be friends with the guys. No problem at all. I can experience to any congregations. It's not a problem to me, because this is the end expression. That's all it is. But each person, each group has that congregation's idea. Sometimes we put too many ideas of our own. Forgot about God. Forgot about Jesus Christ. Forgot about the healing, our own healing. That's why I came here to express that self-healing, to express that God will, to express that immune system, to express what God gave us, the consciousness. Sometimes we forgot all that natured, the self-natured wisdom, self-natured intelligence. And we stuck with ourselves, that the little tiny appearance. See the appearance is easy, but I see beyond appearance, it's challenging, because we're so bombarded with appearance signals, noises, TVs, internet. Today you have social media. Technology has advanced so far away, so advanced, but our spirit, our intelligence, our morality, our ethics, where are they? Let's forget about religious morality. At least it doesn't matter what religion you are part of the humanity. That humanity is that it has that intelligence. That is the real religious intelligence. Why? Because that's the origin love or original compassion from the original light. It doesn't matter what a name you can give, what kind of religion you can give, but that one is the core intelligence of all of us. It's the core light of all of us. It's the core love of all of us. That connects of us, all of us, that achieve that transmission, that connection of that transmission, that information, that light shooting to us, and it doesn't matter how many programming, how many filters we put over there, but if we do not have the light, we're done. Even your life, you're still done. Have nothing to do with it, because that intelligence is gone. It's like a zombie. You're done. You don't have the light anymore. You don't have the healing anymore. People always go to take drugs. You're done. You don't have the light anymore. You don't have the love anymore. You don't have the love to yourself. You don't have the love to God. You don't have any connection to anything, because you savor yourself from everything that produced you, and that body is no longer there. The light is no longer there. That body is dead. That's what I say.
You know, this is fantastic. With the situation that we're in today, and you and I have talked about mind over body ever since we met, just about. But with the situation that we're in today with the coronavirus, it's my belief that this is when, in many cases, we should turn to meditation to make sure that we are charging our immunity. Does that make sense?
That's correct. Yeah. I totally get what you talk about. You know, let's say from the ground level, from the ordinary as a person, and then we have energy. That energy, sometimes we quarrel, sometimes we think, sometimes we keep memories, sometimes we have emotions, sometimes we have this, that, and dissipate that energy. But if we want the energy to really be resilient, to be resilient, need the energy to boost our immune system, need the energy to deal with any situations, we need tremendous energy. That energy through what? Number one is reconnect. Reconnect yourself internally, recharge yourself internally. That rechargement, that energy recharge, that energy will transcend and connect with the universal energy. That universal energy give you more. That's real charge. That charge, we're going to consistently, continuously to recharge you. Your energy will never end. And you become a person of alive. Not only alive in healing, but alive in intelligence, alive in everything that God produces you to do. Alive with the universal consciousness. When you're away from it and you become single. For example, you have the original light, the little light. When you leave the original light, the light becomes diminished. When you have the original light, the light always charged. That is internally connect with God, internally connect with the original consciousness, internal connect. I call Zen. Zen is Chan, is the freedom of the body, freedom of the mind, freedom of the universe that God gives and that the universe gives, the conscious connection, transmit, permeate, penetrate into yourself, bounce back to the universe, and that connection, the freedom of the connection. That's what it is. So recharge. And the only thing I see is observation. You know, I taught a lot of Catholic people from Vatican. I taught a lot of people from a Jewish community. I taught a lot of people from different communities. And I love it because I don't want to get into religion, but I want to see this is a human, basic human breathing, basic human inner observation. Basically, human being, that connection with whatever God you believe is there. Okay, and whatever neighbor you believe is there is the original light. Connect with the original light, the supreme consciousness, the supreme wisdom, the supreme intelligence. Okay, let's do a few minutes. Okay, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, what with the situation we're in today, what advice would you give people to relax and accept? Maybe that's, I don't know if that's the right way to say it.
I like what you said, accept. Accept is so important to the universal consciousness, to the supreme intelligence. Let's put religions out. Let's just use this word, supreme intelligence. Because the supreme intelligence gives you the light. When you accept the light, that means you accept the communication. You accept the connection. You begin to resonate with that supreme intelligence. When you cut yourself away, that means you are not accept anymore. Do you understand? You do not accept your origin anymore. You become a discarded garbage. That's what it is. And it doesn't matter how much money you have, what a status you have, you're still garbage. It's useless, meaningless anymore, because you are no longer meaningful to that original soul, the original intelligence, because you no longer function. So what we do is over here, as far as meditation is concerned, is look inwardly to make that connection. Make the connection, number one, is through that breath. Because you need breath, when the breath is doing what? The breath is to give you calmness. The breath to bring you to that status. The status of calm, the status of serenity, the status of inner observation. Listen to your breath. Feel your breath. And sense your breath. And then as you see, observe your breath, you begin to calm down. And then that breath begin to bring you to the oxygenation, to the energy expression, and to the body. You begin to see and feel. That's the first step, to see and feel see yourself and feel yourself. Disregard anything else outside. Sometimes, yes, people say, oh, my mind is crazy. Everybody's mind is crazy. You're not the only one. Everybody says, oh, my mind is different. No, you're joking. Yeah, everybody else said the same thing. And it's only by degree. Some people more crazier than others. That's all it is. But for certain degrees, everybody's mind is totally radical, totally dynamic, totally transmitted, all kinds of signals. But at the moment, when you calm down, your signals, you're going to be collectively through all kinds of crazy signals out. Yes, sometimes you have signals come in, you readjust and to see one or two things, and a lot of signals you begin to, because just like you read a book, you cannot read millions of books at the same time. It's no way you can do that. You cannot even read 10 books at the same time, not to mention not to mention 100 books. You cannot even read 2 books exactly at the same time. That means you watch your breath, listen to your breath, feel your breath penetration into your body, into your cells, and then that is the first step. My brain, we have a lot of people did a different research on my brain. My brain is a little bit different from most people's brain, because I have a little bit more layers of brain cells than everybody else. Because of the meditation, especially your frontal part, and because the many years of meditation, and slowly the brain cells begin to grow. And then today we can see, actually, from the many neuroscientists that can see that when you 80 years old, when you're 90 years old, you still can grow your brain. Your brain is elastic. We call elasticity of the brain. So it's totally different from the past science research. Today's science research is totally different. Old days we call genetics. Today's we call epigenetics. Why? Because the heritage is no longer that important. Because it is the expression of that heritage is important. Your father has cancer, you don't have any right to have cancer. You don't have to have it. Your father behaves like a drunk, you don't have to be drunk. Because it's that expression of the heritage is more important than that heritage. We can talk more about that in the future. Okay, let's do this. Sit for quietly, and whatever position you can do, like a cross-legged position. You can sit like a chair, like me right now. Put the 2 legs on the ground, flat on the ground, body straight. Put your hands put on the legs, and just put on legs. Also, you can put together, or you can put the legs. You can just like this. Any way you want to do. Right now, just relax. First, take a breath, just a deeper breath. Breathe in, then breathe out. Now breathe in, slowly breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. You can take another breath at any time. Just breathe in and out calmly at your own breath, at your own pace. Okay, let me give you explanation at the moment in time. Usually, how do I start? And when I teach other people, when I share with the people, and normally this is what I say. And when you breathe, you listen to it, you begin to feel how the breath into your lungs, all the way to your diaphragm, how that breath become from ADP, from ATP, become ADP, and become energy, and penetrate, permeate into your body, into your cells. You begin to scan the body, see the body begin to relax. If they're not relaxing, don't worry, has nothing to do with you. But if it is relaxing, they are relaxing on their own. So don't worry. Worry is the main thing. A lot of people have it. I want to relax. No, you don't want to relax. When you want to relax, you're not going to relax. Let it go. That is very, very important. Second thing, I already said, let it go. I mean, let it go. Not only let your body go, let your breath go, let your sense go, without any control, without any management, just like a flow with the water. Just like you said, accept whatever it is. Trust yourself with God. Trust yourself with nature. Let nature take over. Let the universe take over. Let the God Spirit take over. Now, in the meantime, acceptance, let it be natural. Let it go. Let it go without control, because we always want to control the moment. We control this, we control that, we control that. And anything out of control, we don't feel comfortable, we don't feel secure. There's no such thing as secure. There's no such thing as secure. Everything's changing. When you want to hold that secure, you're no longer secure, because you don't trust the God anymore. You don't trust the universe anymore. You don't trust the nature anymore. You don't trust yourself. You can't even trust yourself. Why? Because you do not trust yourself. That's why you want to get that secure. That secure is illusion. So let it go. Anything comes to your mind, let it go. Any attachments come to your mind, let it go. Any emotions that come to your mind, let it go. Any thoughts come to your mind, let it go. Any authority come to your mind, let it go. Anybody saying anything, let it go. See your breath, watch your breath, listen to your breath, observe yourself internally. That's the first step. That's the first step. Yeah, I can do this for days. Just like I told you last time when I had the SARS, I literally meditated for 9 days to 10 days. Of course, 10th day I didn't do as much, just a few hours. But the 9 days, and then the whole day and nights, I never stop. And I might doze off, I might this, I might, fall in sleep, but doesn't matter. I'm meditating, sleeping, meditating. And it was beautiful when I get out of it. The totally transformation of that person. I don't see myself as the original person anymore. I totally changed, not only because of the SARS, that virus, but because my mind, my body totally transformed. That means that a transformation of the energy, transformation, that information, transformation, that are neurons, transformation of that electrons, transformation of that interconnector of that neurotransmission. It's totally different. That's what I see. Yeah.
Just want to make sure nobody tries this while they're driving.
No. You can do breathing. And when I drive, let me tell you how do I do that. Now, some people. Now, I was in Washington D.C. I was going from Washington D.C. to Baltimore, and then cars just cut into my front, and people give me a middle finger, and I just lightly close my eyes because a lot of people bumper to bumper. I just wave my hands. Sometimes I just knock my head. Everything's quiet. Nobody does anything anymore. So when you bring yourself in such a position, the calmness, because all these people come in, it's a manifestation of your hurriness. When you begin to bring that calmness in, and everything around you become calmer. Because at the beginning I was rushed to go to Baltimore, and that's why people cut me. And then I said, calm myself, let it go. And then I semi-meditation. I just drive, stop, and let everything go. No hurry. Whatever it takes is going to take. And then, everything becomes calm. Because a lot of things is a reflection of you. You are the manifestation of all the things that surround you. Reflection of all the lights that surround you. And the consciousness surrounded, the energy surround you. And that's what it is.
So with doing the meditation, just like we did, and are you talking to yourself at all, or are you just strictly breathing and rejuvenating? Right now, the important thing is the immune system, correct?
Yes. Most important, what I do is the immune system. Why it's good for immune system? When you calm down, your body begin to communicate because you have 100 trillion cells. 100 trillion cells, maybe more than 10% are your own cells, but the rest are microbial. And the microbial, what are those? Those are things, bacteria. Those are things, germs. Those things actually they help you also to help you survive better, because they also block all kinds of virus from you. And then you actually not only you communicate the internal cells of yourself, but also communicate with this virus, this bacteria, these germs. Think about it. 90% of them, around your body, within your body, on your skin, everywhere, corners, and your immune system, they're everywhere. But they actually help you. But you communicate with everybody. And then when communications becomes possible, everybody become immune, build that good energy, and anything coming in a flash system. And flash system, your blood, your T cells begin to expel out, your serotonin raise up, your endorphins raise up, all kinds of chemicals you're produced at that time to help you, to strengthen you. Your production, your serotonin, that means your hypothalamus, the whole body begin to communicate. You reorganize yourself. And it's totally different from any drugs because it's all natural. That communication, that reorganization, that connection makes anything possible. That's what I see. And then that's what I meditate, and then I see you sometimes, let's say for example, a lot of times for the last 20, 30 years, people always have flu. They all come to me, because I touch the students, I work with the students. Everybody get these things. I don't. Why? Because I'm become more used to it, and my body begin to see all these cells, all these flu come in. My body begin to build layers, and then sometimes too heavy for me, and then I immediately sense it. I just sit down for a few hours, and then it's gone. Why? Because the body begin to learn how to deal with it, and then your immune system immediately not just rise up to fight, but rise up to harness, to heighten your immune intelligence. That's what it is. To work together, harmonize your immune system, to balance your homeostasis. That's how it is. And your brain cells, your body cells, your heart cells, they all communicate. The brain is a beautiful thing. Your brain can shrink, your brain can expand. And some people say your brain you cannot do anything. No, that you can do a lot of things, billions of things to your brain, to your neurons, transmission, to your neural connection, beautiful things you can do. Yes. That's only through what? Through meditation.
And basically you can do it anytime, any place.
That is correct. You don't have to do a long at the beginning. Let's do 3 minutes to start. 3 minutes. Sometimes you have all kinds of bombarded like signals. Don't worry. Next time, just do it again. And sometimes just readjust. Do another 2 minutes.
All right, let me ask,
Yes.
Is there anything to same time, same place, or like I just said, any time, any place? Some theorists say that you need to do it in a dark room, or you need to do it every morning at 8 o'clock, or...
Okay, this is what happens. Okay. If you can set a time, because it become a good habitual thing to do. You have old habit, all kinds of crazy things going on. That's old habit. 9 to 5 work, and go home, watch TV, and watch cell phone. This bad habit. Because your body is no longer functioning. Why? Because you no longer have the confidence, depend on yourself. You no longer watch yourself. You no longer depend on yourself. You no longer unveil your own intelligence. You no longer have your own light because you depend on everything else. The cell phone or your authority or work or anything. But over there, it is yourself. It's lighten up yourself. My job is here, hopefully I'll give you a spark of light so that each person can lighten yourself up. That light, you can lit up the light anytime. However, if you have a habitual time, a ceremonial time, and in the morning and evening twice, or middle of the day once, you can do 3 times, or do once, or do twice. Start with 5 minutes. That's definitely is a good thing. It's a habitual thing to do. And that will give you a time to sit over there just for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, for 20 minutes. It's a beautiful thing. Oh yeah, it definitely have more effects over there. And that's episode. If you do not have time here there, but do it any time, it's better than nothing.
You're incredible, and we're going to be doing this every week, right?
Sure.
That's super, and we'll have the America's Web Radio master teacher in here, and you're wonderful, and I understand how your students would follow you anywhere. And
I teach, I want to share the information worldwide because I believe I'm the humanity, I'm the society, because I'm you and me. We're the same. We don't have much difference. It's only the end expression is different, but ultimately it's the same. And I want to share with every end expression, how can we reconnect to ourselves? How can we, each individual, back to that self? And then over here, I would say for every Friday, we can say Deru speaks. Deru is my name. Deru also, Der means the principle of the universe, the principle chi of the universe, the principle communication of the universe, the expansion of the consciousness of the universe, the expression of the universal intelligence, the principle of the nature. That's De. Ru means is that inner intelligence, is the original chi, is the original light, is that quantum communication, that motion of the quantum communication. That's Ru. Deru speaks. Basically, the intelligence of the universe speaks through that end expression, the one of these cells, cell phones, and we're all the same. I'm an ordinary being, just like each one of you guys, and I express myself. That self connect with yourself. We all become that self. That self express ourselves, and then we all communicate with each other. We become a little bit more stronger, more resilient, happier, healthier. And what a beautiful life we cannot enjoy. We can all enjoy life, each one of us.
So one of the things that and you are, people would have to know you, and I just barely do, but I know some of you're so smart and have gone to school, and I'm sure you've read our Constitution.
Many times.
Many times, okay, and probably our Declaration of Independence.
Yes, many times. I used to be able to recite. I don't recite it. I used to recite very well, and not because I joined. I become the citizen of the United States, many years ago, and but when I was a much younger person in China. And I recited, Lincoln's speech. I recited the Constitution. I recited a lot of things, and those things in my mind, and that's one of the reasons I came to this country, become the citizen of this country, because this country, and you have people from all over the world, and it doesn't belong to one race, one nationality, one color. Belongs to everybody. And that's the beauty of this country.
The reason I bring this up is that I marvel at the Constitution. I marvel at the men that wrote the Constitution. And they had, in my opinion, an ability that I've never seen since. But they saw very far into the future. I mean, they addressed things that we didn't even know needed to be addressed, particularly at that time, 200 years ago, 250 years ago. And yet they, in so many words, they may not have called it a cell phone, or they may not have called it this or called it that, but they still saw into the future the need to choose words that would be applicable to something 200 years in the future for them, 250 years. So my point being is I would love to take a time, some show, some Friday, and hear your thoughts on what those gentlemen were going through as they sat around and said, we have to write a constitution that will be forever?
I love to do that. When I was in my meditation, maybe 40 years ago, I specifically I go back in time and space, and without the locations, without time and space, and to get engaged with each individual. And I see themselves, we see each individual as me, and I don't see the difference. We're all the same. And me and each individual and you, we're all the same. When we peel off the time, when we peel off the space, when we peel off the location, we're all the same. Transcend with God. We transcend with the universal supreme intelligence. That's all.
Thank you. That's, I love doing this show. And we do a lot of military shows. And I have everything from sergeants up to, we have a general that comes in and does a show. And I love him like a brother, and we're very close. And there is a certain awe when he walks in the door. And the same with me sitting across the table from you, is that, like you said, we're all the same, but we're also as different as anybody can be. And
the end expression is different. That is true.
Yeah.
End expression is different. But sometimes if we pay too much attention to the end expression, we forgot what do we connect to. That's what what I see is a balance to express well, and then but also connect. When you connect well and express much better. When you cut the connection, and you're gonna express terribly.
Well, what are we going to talk about next week?
Next week is still. I want to still talk about the qi, the different expression of the qi, different expression of the energy, different expression of healing. Okay.
I look forward to it, and I don't know whether our other person will be in with us or not, Roger. But
I'll be here.
He'll be here, huh?
I'll be here. Yes.
And you'll be here.
I'll be here.
That's the important thing, and. We look forward to it, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And tell your friends about America's Web Radio, and tell them about this show. There is no other show that I know of that's like this.
Not in this country yet.
Not yet.
Okay,
well, we don't want another one.
I think this is the first one.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, we'll keep it to ourselves, and but let everybody else listen. Shi, thank you.
Thank you.
You're listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.